Dean Rickerson answers questions Maine voters want to know.
Regarding energy, do you think the state should be in a position to fill in some of the incentive gaps that have been lost federally, uh, especially in solar arrays, heat pump, federal tax credits, um, uh, to make up that difference where people up until the end of 2025 were able to claim some significant tax benefits.
Yeah, I don't think we have to make it all up because, in fact, the incentives together with Trump's war have made electric vehicles much more viable. They're the electric vehicles that are being sold in Hampton, New Hampshire, they're a very big success story, and and I don't think we're going to make up the whole difference of the federal tax incentives, but I think that we do have this income source from the regional greenhouse gas initiative, and that is going to help us out a lot through Efficiency Maine. I will use the Volkswagen settlement to increase the number of charging stations around Maine, which we still have more work to do. So I think that we probably won't be able to incentivize those to make up for the federal incentives lost for vehicles, but we can make it much easier for electric vehicles to have a range through the charging stations. And if you go to Quebec, you can see because they have such cheap electricity, there are charging stations at basically every drugstore. So it would allow more Canadian visitors to come here if they ever want to come back. So yeah, incentivizing both the heat pumps as an energy source and the electric vehicles through the charging stations, I think would be good.
Regarding offshore wind, things have, well, even before the current administration's position on offshore wind and basically shutting it down, Maine was going through a lot of discussion, a lot of turmoil as far as how to proceed. And part of that had to do with the communities that were potentially going to be affected by this, and specifically fisher people, lobster industry, and this is something that's been studied and developed in this state, and the state has been a leader in this arena for many, many years. What's your position on how we should be moving forward?
Well, I have to say that it is very unfortunate that LePage canceled our offshore wind project with Statoil, and that people are afraid to invest in large projects in Maine because there's no consistency. And I think we can have offshore wind, and we should. It's one of the major energy sources in the United States for electricity. And we can do it without impacting communities. The studies that I've seen show that you can put lobster traps 10 feet away from a wind platform. I don't know if you've seen something different, but it doesn't impact fisheries compared to, say, trawling. The impact is minuscule. So offshore wind should be definitely emphasized, and it should be also, we have to think about the communities, because the communities, I'm afraid, don't realize that there are trade-offs. If we're going to actually lower carbon and halt global warming, there are going to be trade-offs. There may be power lines. There may be substations. In Spain, the whole landscape is filled with wind generation. And guess what that means? that during the recent war, their prices hardly went up at all because they are dependent on renewable resources, not renting energy from the ground. So I think we should heavily emphasize offshore wind as a new industry, as an energy exporter that Maine can be. So I think that offshore wind is a huge opportunity that Maine can't pass up.
Where are we at with offshore wind? I thought there was a plan that Mark Lawrence had worked on.
Yeah, there was, and it's been inhibited again by the federal government. So
I thought to overcome that one.
there are some environmentalists who don't like some acres on Sears Island being taken by a substation. But again, I feel like it's a trade-off. So offshore wind is basically on hold now, unfortunately. A lot of things are on hold until we can actually get the government back, until we can move this country forward, which Maine can help do. Bringing things to the attention of the governor, the attention to the public, I think is a really important part of the legislature.
On June 9th, please vote for Dean Rikerson for State Senate. It's time to take democracy back and heal it.